Today, we're going to take a classic you think you know, Shakespeare's Henry IV, and peel back the layers to find something, well, something a little chilling. A masterclass in modern politics, hiding in plain sight. You know the story, right? Prince Hal, the wild kid who gets his act together and becomes a noble king. It's the ultimate redemption arc. But what if it's not? What if it's all a calculated performance? Not a hero's journey, but a politician's playbook. Yeah, what if Prince Hal isn't some lost kid finding his way? What if he's a master director from the get-go, pulling every string to build the perfect public image? That's the lens we're looking through today. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to break this down into 5 parts. We'll look at how the performer, his tavern laboratory, the clash between sincerity and strategy, how he uses friends as assets, and finally, how he wins by being a total counterfeit. So first up, let's just lay out the big idea. Hal's entire story, from the bars to the battlefield, is one long, carefully staged performance. And the goal? To build the ultimate political brand. The key concept here is something called political stagecraft. Think about it like this. It's the idea that for a ruler, public life is a stage. You create a character, you play the part that people need to see. And when it's no longer useful, you drop it and create a new one. It's not about who you are, it's about who you can convince people you are. And you can see this so clearly when you compare Hal to his own father. King Henry is exhausted by having to play the part of the king to keep up the facade. But for Hal, it's not a burden. He's a natural. He's already mastered the game and is figuring out how to change the rules. For him, performance is a weapon. So where does a prince learn to be this kind of political animal? Well, not in the castle. We have to look at his time in the taverns in a completely new light. This isn't just a kid acting out. This is R&D for a future king. Forget the idea that the Boar's Head Tavern is this cozy place of friendship. No, it's Hal's social laboratory. It's a fake kingdom where he gets to practice his manipulation skills, learn how the common person thinks, and all the while, everyone just thinks he's a screw-up. It's brilliant. And he has a method. It's like a 4-step program. First, he dives right in, hanging out with the lower classes. Second, he absorbs everything, their language, their humor, how they think. Third, he runs experiments, right? The Gadshall robbery is a perfect example. He's testing loyalty, seeing how easily he can spin a story. And finally, step 4, he weaponizes it all into this incredibly powerful common touch that no other noble has. Now, to really appreciate Hal's genius, you have to look at his rival, Hotspur. Hotspur is this passionate, hot-headed warrior who is, above all else, sincere. And frankly, that's exactly why he's doomed. I mean, look at this contrast. For Hotspur, your emotions are real, honor is this fixed, noble thing, and being sincere is everything. He can't play a role. For Hal, it's the exact opposite. Emotion is a tool. Honor? That's just something you can trade for a better position. And sincerity is just one more costume you can put on when the scene calls for it. And here's the bottom line. Hotspur's biggest weakness is that he's authentic. He can't hide what he feels, and in this new cutthroat world of politics, that makes him a massive liability. He's basically bringing a knight's code of honor to a game of political poker. He's playing an old game, and he dies for a code that Hal has already figured out how to package and sell. Okay, so if Hal is that calculating with his enemies, what about his friends? Well, it gets even colder. Let's talk about Sir John Falstaff. The guy who thinks he's Hal's mentor is actually just his most valuable prop. This is what Falstaff really is, a commodity of the state. He's not a person to Hal, he's a tool, a PR asset. His entire friendship with the prince is just part of the marketing campaign for Hal's big comeback story. Falstaff is basically the before picture in Hal's political transformation story. He represents everything messy and chaotic that Hal has to publicly reject to become the reformed king. That famous rejection scene, it wasn't a personal betrayal. It was the final, necessary press conference. And if you want to see just how detached Hal is, look at the fact that he lets Falstaff take credit for killing Hotspur. Why? Because Hal doesn't care about the truth. He cares about the story. The myth of the reformed prince is way more valuable than the reality of who actually won the fight. He doesn't need personal glory. He needs the perfect narrative. All right, which brings us to the grand finale, the Battle of Shrewsbury. This is the ultimate test, where all of Hal's training, all his performance, comes together on the biggest stage yet. And guess what? The battle isn't won because of some noble, sincere heroism.
It's won because of savvy marketing and deception. It's the ultimate victory of the better performer, not the better man.
When you step back and look, the entire world of this play is built on fakes. You've got decoy kings on the battlefield to confuse the enemy. You've got Hal's fake tavern persona, Falstaff's fake claim to victory. The whole story is a counterfeit. It tells you that power and authority aren't actually real. They're just an image you manage to project. And that's really the big, chilling takeaway here. Hal's victory isn't just about winning a battle. It's the birth of the modern politician. A leader who sees the world not in terms of right and wrong, but as a series of roles to be played for maximum effect. Ultimately, it seems like Shakespeare is telling us that the price of real power is, well, your humanity. To get the crown and keep it, you might have to give up on things like real friendship, real emotion, real loyalty. And that's the question the play leaves us with, isn't it? What parts of yourself do you have to kill to become a king?